There are two Liberal parties emerging. We've got what the ABC likes to call the far, totally Nazi freedom-loving fascist right, which was previously known as blue ribbon Liberals to normal people. And then we have the very wet, limp, sort of slick, holier-than-thou corporate Liberals who keep getting their asses kicked every time an election rolls around. Are these two sides of the broad church separating? Or do you think they might be able to find some common ground and collapse back into a coherent Liberal movement?
It is the common ground that clearly needs to be concentrated on. And when people ask me, am I a Conservative or whatever, I simply say I signed up to the 17 We Believe principles enunciated by Sir Robert Menzies. And in my home state of Tasmania, when I encourage people to join the Liberal Party, I simply give them a copy of that We Believe document and say, if you can agree with these 17 principles, then the Liberal Party is for you. However, if you can't, it doesn't make you a lesser person. It just means that the Liberal ethos is not one for you, and potentially another political party should be the one of your choice. The idea that the Liberal Party should seek to embrace everybody is to deny the fundamental values, virtues and principles enunciated in We Believe and set out by Robert Menzies. And Robert Menzies, in the latter part of his life, did lament some of the drifting within the Liberal Party. But now, look, that said, the strength of the Liberal Party is being able to appeal to a broad cross-section of the community, but we always have to believe in our fundamental values, and if we stray from them, then I think we've got some issues. So, for example, when I took on, and it wasn't the flavour of the month at the time, might I add, I think most people are into it now, but I took to task the apologists for the communist dictatorship in Beijing. I even had Liberals seeking to attack me, and I read out principle number 9, where Robert Menzies said that we oppose the autocracy of communism and fascism. And I found it strange that I, as a Liberal, had to defend myself against a fellow Liberal who was not agreeing with my attack on the dictatorial and brutal regime of Beijing. We have nothing in common. They're a dictatorship, we're a democracy. We believe in the rule of law. They have a corrupt judicial system. So to attack the core of that government is completely different to attacking individual citizens of that country. And that is where we need a more in-depth discussion within the public debate. But look, all that said, the future of the Liberal Party, I think, is very strong, and especially under the leadership of Peter Dutton. He's making the gutsy calls of vote no to the referendum, putting nuclear energy onto the table of public discussion, I think, onto the agenda. I think they're the things that the people of Australia want. And ultimately, and I remind people of this, that Paul Kelly and other journalists have opined over the years how terrible we were in re-electing John Howard as leader, how we had a death wish by electing Tony Abbott as leader. And what did both of those gentlemen do for us? Won massive landslide election victories. And so just because the journalists and the commentariat aren't behind us doesn't mean that the people of Australia aren't behind us. And that which was commentated about for John Howard and Tony Abbott is now the same commentary going towards Peter Dutton, which gives me hope that he has the capacity to deliver a landslide election victory like those two other gentlemen did.